This meeting is organized by Euro Biomed to understand how we can earn money. I think we are really at the very beginning of a revolution, and it is now that we have to take information, now that it's necessary to position ourselves for tomorrow being in a pole position. Artificial intelligence seems to detect diseases from medical imagery with the same level of relevance as health professionals, 86–87%. It has nevertheless been established that deep learning can effectively detect diseases ranging from cancers to ophthalmic pathologies with as much accuracy as health professionals. The AI is no less than human, and it's already huge. But we are going to moving on now. And the first guest is Stephanie. She's online. Just let me introduce Stephanie. She's a partner at Scient, where she's responsible for data strategy and artificial intelligence. Stephanie, do you hear us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, great, perfect, loud and clear. You can go on.
I've been working in the finance industry for maybe 10 years, so that's where I started my career. And I've been working a lot with data at this moment. So actually, it was not called data, but now it's becoming a big boom in the finance industry. So I was passionate about that and how we could use them to automate things and to make a better business and to be more efficient. Then I've had a total move in my career, and I started to create startups in various industries. Most of them were in the tech industry. Since 2 years now, I've created a first company and now a consulting company which is named Scient, like scientific science, and we are helping big pharma, biotechs, labs through their data strategies, and of course through their artificial intelligence strategies. So what I just wanted to highlight here is that when we work with Sanofi, when we work with Fab, when we work with biotechs, we always make sure that we go through this process, because everybody's talking about AI at this moment, about data, but most of the time we realize that the project is either not AI at all because we don't have enough data, or simply because we find other ways to address the patient or our customers' needs. So just as a quick reminder, how we do that, I'm going to give you an example. On the left-hand side of the graph of the screen, you see, I don't know if you see everything, but the first hill is design thinking. The first thing you have to bear in mind when you talk about AI or data project is what are your customers. Customers could be external, could be a patient, or could be your own company. What is the need? For example, we've been working with a famous doctor on an Alzheimer project. So he wanted to use AI to find new ways to treat, or not to treat, but to help patients that have Alzheimer without taking drugs. So he really wanted to use different techniques such as putting up music, reassuring the patient, and depending on the patient, putting in place a specific standard so that his life could be more pleasant. So when we met him, so he has this big idea of putting in place an AI project, but what we started with is that we started with design thinking. meaning that we helped him explore what was existing in France for Alzheimer's, what were the different techniques, what were the different services, what were the different apps that were on the market that could already help an Alzheimer's daily life. We also interviewed not only the patients, because it's always difficult, but also the people who help the helpers and the people who offer daily care to the patients. And then we ended up with the conclusion that there was no way that his project could be put in place the way he imagined it, because he wanted to give an app to all the daily carers so that they could enter all the specifics about the patient, so that it could give through an app the perfect treatment or non-medicamental treatment for the patient. But we realized that in terms of use, an app would not be used essentially. So we helped him review completely his project, and in a sense, we destroyed the artificial intelligence project. But we helped him redirect his project so that in the end there could be something realistic to be done for the patients. So I'm just starting with a kind of a negative project so that you understand that AI is not always the best solution because what you need to do at the first place is focus on the needs. So once we've done that, and for example, for another client, he wanted to automate the calculation of the size of globules or molecules. So this particular process was done manually, so it meant a lot of time wasted on that. So through this design sprint, we helped really focus on the right challenge, which was we need to save time when we count the number of molecules. And when we were really sure that it could be okay, that there was a market for that, there was a need for that, then we could switch to the second bubble, which is called transformation, but actually it's a lean startup. We use lean startup methods just to make sure that this AI project will have a good return on investment, because the idea again with AI is not to spend money and to see what's going to be what we are going to be ending up with at the end of the project. We want to know that from day one before starting anything. So through this lean startup approach, we make sure that the AI project that we are working on is going to have a good pricing, it's going to find customers in the end, and it's going to be, from a commercial perspective, a success. And once we've done that, we can go to the third bubble, the blue one, which is actually the development phase, where our data scientists work on algorithm to answer the initial challenge. So I think we can go to we can move to the second slide. So the second slide is really so what I was explaining about design sprints. I can no more highlight the fact that it's essential from the very beginning to work on a prototype, which is not essentially AI, but just to make sure that the project will go to an end and will answer the customer's needs. So yeah, we can move to next slide. So most of the time, our customers come with huge expectation. So they tell us, yeah, we have tons of data, ton of images, ton of results, and we wanna do AI. But what we start with is that, okay, you have tons of data. What are you already able to do with your data. And you'll see on the left is that most of our clients, and especially big farmers, are still at the level 1, meaning that they only use their data now to know what happened in the past, but they're just at this level. So how can you work on AI when today your reports are only giving you an image of what happened? So we try to start with this stage and to move to the second one. Okay, so you know what happened. Now we're already tried to help you understand what happens now, which is already a big step because you're moving from the past to now real time. And when you've done that, we can move to an active approach, which is not only understand know what happened, but understand why this has happened and why this is happening. So this is already a big step before moving to the fourth step, the fourth column, which is proactive. And now you can try to do AI and really introduce machine learning, deep learning to predict what's going to happen in the future.
Stephanie, yeah. Stephanie, do you hear me? I might have a very naive question, but can you tell us, do you have an idea of the size of the market? What intelligence artificial in diagnosis medical will represent? What is expected?
Yeah, we've done. I can answer your question in the next slides because actually, yeah, we've developed a market research tool that can help you assess the size of the market. So typically, I just wanted to focus on some examples that we are now working on with some customers in the healthcare industry. We've developed with a partner an AI tool which helps you assess the size of a specific technology, because you're all working on something that's fully innovative, most of the time new markets. So how are you going to assess the size of the market quickly? Because you're not McKinsey, or you don't have you can't afford McKinsey or Bain consultancy. So this tool is actually helping people assessing the size of different markets over the world. So we've gathered more than 150,000 press releases. That was in a specific case. So I can't tell you exactly what was the question about the market because it's confidential. But we screen automatically more than 150K press releases over 15K different websites, and our tool helps us getting the right information, getting rid of all the information that were not relevant for our analysis, and it's semi-automatically generated a SWOT analysis, which was really helpful in our case. As a result, we got a market research fully detailed in less than 1 week. And we analyzed global data, so we're not only focused on the French or the European market, and we were able to give an action plan to our customer. To answer your question, for the moment, the AI in diagnosis is huge. So we actually run a research. It was in the French market, but actually it was already, I think it was 2 years ago, so the numbers may have changed dramatically. In France, what I can tell you from what we discussed with our partners is that we are behind all the other countries. Of course, Google and all the GAFA, central Google is really a step behind, and the market size, the global market size, is over. I don't know. I think our last estimates were more than $30 billion, which is actually huge.
You said 30 billions?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. 30, not 3.
30, no, 30, 30.
30, okay.
On a global perspective.
Just in France?
Sorry?
It's in France or it's global?
No, it's global. It's global.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's global. But yeah, I'd be happy to refresh the numbers based on today, because I'm sure that the numbers are changing all the time. Second example was our customer, so I just mentioned it before, is still counting the globules, their size and numbers on a picture manually. So it takes a lot of time to engineers to do that, and to analysts, and so so we really wanted to help them automate this process. So this is really based on one one tier of AI, which is image recognition. Of course, so AI, you can use it with big data, structured data, as we all think about data in big Excel spreadsheets with a lot of columns, with a lot of lines. But AI is also a way to use unstructured data, such as images and such as text. In this specific example, we use images, and we use tons of images that our customer gave us with the results, saying on this image there was X number of globules with this size, and with machine learning, the machine learned by herself how to count what was the globules, how to count them, and how to assess the specific size. So how did we do that? So we first started with an analysis of the challenge. As I told you, we've done a bit of design thinking, so it didn't last more than half of a day. But we just wanted to make sure that we could end up with a good solution, that it would be used by the people, because you can work on a really clever project when people are not reassured by the so-called black box of AI, they're not going to use it. So we just wanted to make sure that all the different actors and stakeholders would be using our product in the end. So we spent some time with them initially to understand how they were working and to reassure them with the outcome. So we've done that. So we designed kind of the challenge, and then we started analyzing data with our data scientists, and then we defined the full algorithm, and we gave this the code or the API to our client so that he could test by himself how our model was working. And then we delivered a web app, so an interface where every engineer could simply upload his pictures and then get the results really simply. So the results were specifically very good, because the time that was spent by engineer just to count the number of globules manually, we divided this time by 10, so which is a lot of time saving. And we also realized that there were some errors done by human, and we reduced the number of errors in that case. Another example is a lot of customers, especially biotechs, not big pharmas, are coming and say, yeah, we want to do AI, but we don't have a lot of data, so can we do something? So I can't say yes or no. What I can say is it depends. In this specific example, our customer wanted to reduce the number of runs when testing molecules. So he wanted to better predict how a molecule could result and could behave. So here we've done a lot of state-of-the-art analysis, because what we want to do is accelerate projects. So our data scientists digged into tons of research papers just to find some similar, of course not the same, similar papers on different molecules, just to know if this, if what had already been developed could be used on our specific challenge. This is called transfer learning. So when you don't have a lot of data, you can always have a hope. You can always hope that something not on really on your subject, but on a similar subject has already been thought, analyzed, developed, so that we can use what has been already done and be used on your specific issue. So we've done that. So this actually takes more time. Usually our proof of concept or our algorithm, we can develop them in less than a month. 1 month to get AI, it's actually quite a good deal and quite fast. Here, transfer learning, of course, it's going to take a lot of time, and it's not always realistic to use this kind of approach. But it's just to give you an idea that we can do that when you don't have a lot of data. We can use this option. So this, as a result, of course, it was good because we helped the team reduce the number of runs, the number of tests, because we could better predict the outcome, and and we helped them save money and time, of course. Next, yeah. And this, I'm going to go quickly into that, but it's just to give you an idea of where the industry stands at the moment in terms of data. So it's not only about diagnosis, but in the industry, a lot of things are made through sensors. They use a lot of sensors on machines to better predict if a machine is going to be down or not. They use sensors to predict defaults when you produce a drug, for example. In sales and marketing, there's a lot of use cases that we've been working on, such as scrapping. If you want to get external data from the web or from other databases, AI can do that automatically for you. We've been working on dynamic pricing, so how I can make sure that I'm going to give the right price to the right candidate, the right customer, or the right patient. Scoring, so just to give a score to each patient. For example, this kind of patient is going to be a best candidate for this kind of drug or this kind of treatment. Referral system for this kind of patient, which kind of medicine or which kind of drug would have a better impact on him. And of course, chatbots, email, treatment, and so on. Everything that you may already know about AI. This, yeah, just I think we can scrap it. Just as a conclusion, what I wanted to give you maybe as a wrap up is, don't think AI as an ultimate goal, but think about it through the need of your patient, through the need of your customer. That's the best way to find a strong business model.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. We can applause Stephanie.